Hello, all my freshmen in global studies. Today I'm going to do a quick lecture for you about the Treaty of Versailles. So we've spent the last, week learning about the Treaty of Versailles, and we had our simulation. Today is just to go over, you probably have a good idea of already what happened at the Treaty of Versailles, but today is, what really happened at the treaty, at the Paris Peace Conference. So a little bit of background, right? The Treaty of Versailles took place in June in 1919. Germany and Russia were actually not invited to the conference. The Allies didn't feel the need to invite Germany, and Russia had left the war early, which really upset the Allies, as we know, because of the Russian Revolution. So they were not really pleased. They didn't really want them there. The Allies, also especially Britain, was very upset that the Russian government was now communist, which was another reason why they were not invited to the Paris Peace Conference. So it was really controlled by the Allies. And we know that the big powers of the Paris Peace Conference were France, Britain, and the US. France was devastated by World War I. I mean, most of the fighting, or a lot of it, had actually taken place in France. So they were just devastated. They also bordered with Germany. And so they were afraid, if Germany wasn't destroyed, would they attack them again? Britain, on the other hand, Lloyd George, he didn't really want to ruin Germany, but the people of England were very upset about the war and were calling for the destruction of Germany. And so therefore, Lloyd George kind of had to side with France if he wanted to win re-election. The US, Woodrow Wilson, was a little bit different. He was really an idealist, he is described as. He wanted to help rebuild Germany. He wanted to prevent another war, so he came up with these things, the 14 points. One of his biggest goals was the creation of the League of Nations. This was an organization in his head that all these international countries came together to discuss what was going on and communicate diplomatically to prevent another conflict like this from happening. If you guys have ever heard of the UN, the League of Nations was the predecessor to the UN, and we'll talk about the UN later. So Wilson's 14 points. So Woodrow Wilson went into the Paris Peace Conference with these goals. Germany also, when they surrendered, was under the impression that these would really be what the Treaty of Versailles was created after. So I kind of wanted to go over these. Remember, his goal was to prevent another war. So he said, no more secret treaties. We know that the alliance system in World War I was one of the main causes of World War I. So he said, no more secret treaties. Free sea navigation, free trade. Another big one was disarmament. He wanted everyone to decrease the size of their militaries. He was also a strong believer in self-determination. He believed that groups of people, such as, if you were Poland, whatever ethnic group you were part of, you should be able to create your own government instead of being controlled by another government. He also wanted to adjust colonial claims. So Woodrow Wilson really came into this saying, people should be able to have their own governments and we should not have as many colonies. You can probably imagine that France and Britain were not really down for that. He also wanted the restoration of Belgium. Belgium was pretty decimated during World War I. It was one of the largest, it was where a lot of trench warfare was taking place. Alsace-Lorraine, he wanted to give back to France. He wanted Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro restored, which were other locations where fighting had taken place. He believed that Turkey should become its own country after the fall of the Ottoman Empire after World War I. He believed that Poland should be created, their own independent state. He also believed that Austria-Hungary should be restored. He believed in the creation of a League of Nations, as we talked about. And then he also wanted Italy to get the land that it had wanted. This did not end up happening, as we are probably well aware from our simulation. What actually happened? Germany lost all their colonies. Germany lost all the colonies, okay? It was given to Great Britain and France, so you can imagine Germany was not happy about that. Poland was created out of a lot of the land that Germany had gained during World War I. Overall, the Treaty of Versailles was a huge land loss for Germany. They lost land that they had taken from France. They lost huge parts of Eastern Germany. I'll show you a map later. They lost control of the Saar, which were coal fields. Those were given to France. It placed the entire blame of the war on Germany. They were instructed to pay 6.6 billion pounds of reparations, which is like, payment for the damage they did to the Allies. And as you can probably imagine, they for sure could not pay that, as every economy in Europe was completely decimated after World War I. They were forbidden to have submarines or an air force, and their army could only be 100,000 people, and their navy could only be 6 battleships. And then, more importantly, guys, they couldn't join the League of Nations. So the League of Nations was created, but Germany couldn't join it. So as you can probably tell, this decreased the effectiveness of the organization. Also, fun fact, we'll go over this next week too, the US also did not join the League of Nations, even though it was Woodrow Wilson's idea, because Congress didn't ratify it. So here's a little map just to show you what was going on, right? So the Rhineland was giving back to France, and they said that, it had to be demilitarized. Germany could not place any troops in the Rhineland, according to the Treaty of Versailles. This land right here, Alsace-Lorraine, was given to France. Germany was forbidden with uniting with Austria down here. A new government was formed in Germany called the Weimar Republic. It was supposed to be more democratic. They had previously been under a monarchy. Germany lost all the colonies. Danzig. We have Poland over here being created, okay? This is what Germany would have looked like if they had won World War I. So you can imagine, obviously it's huge. You can imagine how upset they were when they lost all this land. Here's just a little political cartoon that I think it does a good job at illustrating. So these little guys right here are all representing the big four. So Italy, US, Britain, and France. Italy, US, Britain, there you go. Big four pills. And then over here, you have this big hand labeled British Empire, France, America, Italy, Japan. And then this guy right here is clearly Britain. They are shoving the peace terms down his throat. It is a huge pill, using that size differentiation to really get across that the Treaty of Versailles was going to be nearly impossible for Germany to follow. All right, guys, and this is a fun meme. Tiger King. Germany at the Treaty of Versailles. I am never going to financially recover from this. If you've seen Tiger King, it's a pretty funny meme. All right, guys, so you're going to go ahead and complete the exit ticket on Canvas now. There is a link there, and then you'll be done. Thanks so much.